Hello, everybody. What's going on? This is Andrew, and today I am back. I am playing Magic, and I'm actually taking a look at Standard today because I saw this deck posted on some of the challenges last weekend. I thought it looked sweet. I'm always keeping my eye out for interesting looking aggro decks. And I think Reckless Stormseeker is one of my favorite cards that was printed over the last couple of years. So finally seeing it paired with Thundering Raiju and some other sweet red and white aggro cards definitely caught my attention. So I crafted the deck. I had most of the cards for this anyways. Played a couple games, and this kind of deck is exactly what I like to play. I think this deck is awesome. So the general plan with this deck is just to curve out. You've got your Hopeful Initiates and your Kumano Faces Kakazans here at the bottom. And you've got Luminarch Aspirant and Bloodthirsty Adversary as 2s. You curve up to Brutal Cathar, Reckless Stormseeker, or Sunrise Cavalier, which is an uncommon from the first Innistrad set. Trampled Haste, if it's neither day nor night, it becomes day, and then whenever it flips, you put a counter on something. And that matters because Thundering Raiju is the 4-mana 3/3 haste. Whenever it attacks, put a counter on target creature you control, and then this thing deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than this thing. So you've got a +1/+1 counters theme running through your whole deck. Kumano Faces Kakazan puts a counter on your next spell. Luminarch Aspirant's obviously great at putting counters on things. And even the Bloodthirsty Adversary, if you cast this for 5, 2, and then 3 to flash something back, it comes in with a +1/+1 counter. So everything is kind of working towards the Raiju dealing extra damage when it attacks, because of additional +1/+1 counters on all of your stuff. Then you've got Royal Eruption and Play with Fire as your spells of choice in this build. Royal Eruption is just, deals 3 to anything. You don't really care about playing an instant speed here. You just want to put as much damage on the board as possible. And then Play with Fire is obviously the best shock variant we have in the format right now. It's better than shock, obviously. Lands, pretty standard for what you'd expect. Only 2 Den of the Bugbear and only 3 Sundown Pass because we want to make sure our lands come into play untapped. Of course, we're going into maintenance right now, so I'm going to try to hop into the games pretty quickly. Sideboard, we've got a couple Valorous Stances, Late Spellbinders, Skyclave Apparitions, Showdown of the Scalds, Kami's Flare for extra removal, and Angel Fire Ignition to help, punch through damage, because this gives lifelink and trample and indestructible. So that's this deck. I think it's really sweet. Let's hop into a couple games and see if we can run down some of our opponents. All right. Let's get into the first match here, and this hand looks perfect. 4 lands is a little heavy, but if we never draw another land, I'll be very happy. We get to curve Kumano Faces Kakazan into Luminarch Aspirant into Reckless Stormseeker. So on the turn this comes in, we'll be attacking for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with haste. Just on turn 3. Okay. Kumano Faces Kakazan is such a good turn 1 play. It can't die to any removal that your opponent might have for it. Right? It doesn't die to shock. And then it powers up your turn 2 play. So this is a 2/2 Aspirant. Now it's a 3/3 Aspirant. Looks like they're going to kill this Aspirant, but it's fine. Is that the Voltage Surge? Okay. It's kind of annoying. If we had waited, or if we had been able to put the counter on it, it would have survived the Voltage Surge, obviously. Alright, this is going to happen. We're going to get a 2/2. I'm going to play Reckless Stormseeker and try to hit for 5. If our opponent lets me flip this. Looks like we're playing against some sort of Grixis control deck. We will probably want to sideboard in the Showdown of the Scalds. Royal Eruption's probably not good here, because since they have Head of the Eye Tyrant, I want my Kami's Flares so I can actually kill it. Oh, this is the green one, not the Grixis one. Sorry, this is Jund. Looks like mostly black-red, maybe with a little green splash just for that. Okay, Thundering Raiju is a nice draw. Yeah, I don't see a reason to not just play it. That's the most efficient way to spend my mana this turn. Continues to put the most pressure on our opponent. They've got to run out of removal spells eventually, I hope. Yep. Okay. Here's Luminarch Aspirant. I'll spend the first charge making this a 3/3, I think. I'm probably going to cast Play with Fire on them on end step so I can scry. Cool. I wanted to get this out of Voltage Surge range because it was impossible to get the Luminarch Aspirant out of Voltage Surge range. Okay, shoot that. Or shoot you. Don't really want the Usher of the Fallen right now. It's a good draw. Do this. Flashback. Play with Fire. Attack for 6. I would love to cast the spell. Thank you so much for asking. Sounds good to me. Oh, cool. They didn't have blocks. Awesome. It was just... They could have activated a Half of the Eye Tyrant the whole time. That's all that was. Okay, so they're just a Shambling Gas sacrifice deck. They just are splashing green. Yeah, they've got Deadly Disputes and things like that, sure. I can't gain them life, right? No. They're digging. I'm not sure what the whole point of that was. They're dead to the creatures on board anyways. Like I said, I think I need to take out 2 Royal Eruptions and put in 2 Kami's Flares at the very least. Usher of the Fallen seems terrible against what our opponent is doing. I think I want the Showdown of the Scalds. Thalia seems good against all the spells they cast. Maybe I just want some Thalias here. And then I'm wondering about needing Skyclave Apparition, potentially, if they're an Oni Cult Anvil deck. And the Angel Fire Ignition can be good if they are an Oni Cult anvil deck to punch through. We saw the voltage surges and treasure stuff. I'm going to leave it like this for now. If I need to bring in these and these next, I will. But I've got the hopeful initiates. And yeah, I think I'll just hope that that's good enough. I could be convinced to trim some number of play with fires also. I just don't want to go too low on them. So I'm going to leave it as is for now. I might trim some for game 3. We have to mulligan this, obviously, which is too bad because it would have been a good hand otherwise. We will keep this and just put a land back. This is red, this is white, this is both. Duress. Interesting. I wonder why they have duress against me. Like, all my most important spells are creatures. Like, I could care less about the play with fire that just got taken. We'll slam the Sunrise Cavalier first. This is the least important of all of my things, so if it's going to die, or if something's going to die, I'd rather that die first. Am I putting this on red or white? I think red. I think I'm just slamming Reckless Stormseeker here. It's going to enter the battlefield as a Storm Charge Slasher. Then try to attack for 5. Cool. Okay. Am I just playing these two things and attacking with the Bloodthirsty Adversary, or do I wait on it? I think I'm just casting it. And attacking for 3. Now it's daytime again, so Brutal Cathar can actually do something if they cast a creature. Okay. Running out of gas here. Okay. Sure. Luminarch Aspirant is going to pump up my Brutal Cathar here. So this says whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, exile an instant or sorcery at random from your graveyard, then copy each card exiled with this thing. So they're going to pop off here in a second. Assuming they have spells to cast. Okay. Shadow Skull Smashing does nothing here. Burn down the house deals 5 to everything. Attack for 3. So now whenever they cast an instant or sorcery spell, they get to copy burn down the house. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can win from here. I think I sideboarded pretty wrong, but I didn't really know what they were doing, and I saw a Shambling Ghast, so I expected this to be something else. I mean, I can still win. The game's not over yet, but it's getting kind of grim. Now they're invoking despair. I'm actually dead pretty quick. I guess if they cast one more spell, I just die this turn. Yeah, that's not going to do it. Okay. So, I do want my Elite Spellbinders. I do not want the Brutal Cathars. I wouldn't mind Valorous Stance. I don't know if I need any of my burn spells. Like, I know that they have some number of the Black Land, Hive of the Eye Tyrant, but again, I thought that they had other creatures I cared about, but it doesn't seem like they do. Valorous Stance seems like it could be good for me. And then do I want Angel Fire Ignitions here? They have so many instant speed removal spells that I do not think this is the matchup you want this card. I'm trying to decide if I'd rather have Play with Fire or Royal Eruption. Maybe I do just want all creatures on deck, basically. Yeah, I kind of like how this looks. I might even take the Play with Fires out in favor of the Royal Eruptions, just because they deal more damage. Yeah, let's do that. I think this is a very winnable matchup. We'll just see if we can get the job done. Yeah, I'll keep this. This isn't, like, amazing, but this is fine. We've got 2 into 3. Yeah, I am just casting this on 2. Looks like our opponent mulliganed, I think. And this Soken'Zan I'll hold in my hand until I am forced to play it. I'd rather have this be creatures than a spell at this point. Igonjo's not going to do anything for me. So this can be these can be lands, this can be a spell. Looks like they have a Voltage Surge. I think I'm just playing Elite Spellbinder here. If they want a Voltage Surge something, they have to do it now. Shatter Skull Smashing, Big Score, and Arcane Bombardment, huh? I think I just take Big Score to slow them down. It's a really slow hand now that they can't accelerate with Big Score. This would let them discard a card and draw 2 cards and make 2 treasures. Or they're just going to Shatter Skull this for 1. That's fine. Just playing this. Attacking for 3. They might not have a play here. Why? Why is this in their deck? They have pest summoning? Weird. It's just weird. I don't get it. And now that I drew this, I probably want this to be a spell. Or I probably want Soken'Zon to just be a land. Both of these things are going to trigger Aspirant, I think. And attack. I guess I don't need to do anything with it this turn, right? But I will Royal Eruption your face. Then the next turn, if I draw a different land, I'll play it. Such a weird card for this deck. It must just be like... I don't know, you would never play a card like this as just a one-of. So I'm really confused. Okay, it doesn't look like they found a burn down the house or anything like that. If they had, they would have just slammed it. Okay, Shatter Soul Smashing on the guy. Let's see, is this Thundering Raiju or is this Bloodthirsty Adversary? So Adversary flashes back the Royal Eruption. They take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Raiju, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's Raiju then. Put a counter on the Raiju. Attack. Put a counter on this. Yeah. So put them to 3. Then just flashing back, the Royal Eruption kills them. They had to use the look at the top 3 cards mode on Riveteer's Charm. They found an untapped land, and then they're just pest summoning. Yeah. So I can do this as a land. This flashback Royal Eruption, and we've won the game. Cool. I'm going to try to get one more game in real quick before the maintenance starts. This hand looks awesome. Green, black. Turn 1, dig up. Okay. Could get a basic land. Sure. Hopeful Initiate. Luminarch Aspirant. I'm assuming this is dead. March of Wretched Sorrow. Not a card you see very often. The Black March deals X damage to something and you gain excellent. So, there you go. Graveyard Trespassers, super annoying to deal with. Because if it becomes the target of a spell or ability I control, I have to discard a card. And so I want to Royal Eruption it just to kill it, but then I have to discard a card. I could Brutal Cathar it, but then that risks... I think I just shoot it. I don't like it though. Don't like it at all. Sure, Celestis and nothing. Okay. This is definitely a land this game. I'm just gonna go Reckless Stormseeker. They have a removal spell. I hope I can get Hopeful Initiate up to a point where it actually does something. Okay, they made it nighttime so they can loot. Okay. We're on our way. This is a 2/3. Blood on Snow. So if I play this... This card's so annoying to deal with. I'm casting 2 spells, but I can't pay for wards, so that gets countered. And then the Celestis flips, or makes things flip. They discarded a Binding the Old Gods, which does not does not bode well for me. I'll double block. If they have a removal spell here, we're just dead anyways, so yeah. Concede from there. There's no real coming back from that. They'd gained a bunch of life and, you know, killed all of our stuff. We definitely want Thalias. We definitely want Elite Spellbinders. Again, Usher does not seem particularly good. I don't know if I want any of my Play with Fires. I do want a Showdown of the Scalds. I kind of want Valorous Stance. Can't have everything though, right? Brutal Cathar did not seem particularly good. I don't know about this one. It seems like this green-black deck is perfectly set up to fight what we're doing. Lots of cheap interaction. Sticky creatures, sweepers. Let's see if our sideboard can do anything, though. I mean, this is a good hand. It's a slow hand, though, so I just like to draw a 2-drop. No 2-drop. Okay. We're going big and powerful instead of small ball. Yeah, they've got an Infernal Grasp this turn. So we'll go for Elite Spellbinder. There's the Infernal Grasp. They have no lands. They have a couple removal spells. They've got the Graveyard Trespasser. Celestis. The hand is clunky. I think I take the Celestis. Cool, they missed. They missed. We did it. I'm gonna play Reckless Stormseeker and attack. They have an Infernal Grasp. That was their draw. Oh, but the Baleful Mastery. Sure. Deal. We'll play this. And this. Oh, come on. You didn't draw another one. Another Infernal Grasp or Baleful Mastery. Yeah, looks like they did. Leave my Raiju alone. He's just thundering over here. Oh. I'm okay with that. They had to get rid of all their good cards to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, just casting my good cards. Since I'm at 6 lands already, I'm not just going to fire off this Royal Eruption. If I find one more land, this does 5 instead of 3. They never drew a third land and they just died. Cool. I don't think I'm changing things. Oh, can I not look at their hand? I want to look at their hand. They have Sorin. I'm wondering what the Valorous stance is, if we actually need them or not, but they do kill the backside of Graveyard Trespasser. And, they protect my stuff if I need them to. I think it's going to be good. Yeah, this is a Sneaper Keeper. So we'll go Hopeful Initiate into Bloodthirsty Adversary. And then we've got either Spellbinder or Sunrise Cavalier. Okay. Now the question is, do I play a Hopeful Initiate here? I think yes. And then I go Elite Spellbinder, Ray of Enfeeblement, or the Celestus. I think I take the Celestus. No attacks. They can cast Ray this turn if they want to, but this at least forces them to not attack. Yeah, they just let it turn nighttime. So let's see, let's go Storm Charged Slasher. Combat. Target itself. These two things attack. Obviously this can't attack. Then Ray that. Yep. I think I'm okay with that. Just everything about that is fine to me, I think. And there's Celestus. There's another Hopeful Initiate. Interesting. So I think with that I actually hold on to the Bloodthirsty Adversary and go Sunrise Cavalier plus Hopeful Initiate. And attack with both. That gets training. And then when Day-Night flips, I can put a counter on this, which now threatens to blow up the Celestus next turn. And And they found the blood on snow. Oh, that sucks. I think if I dodge that for a turn, things are pretty good for us, but as is, I'm not thinking we can beat this card, which sucks. This card is not particularly good, but I'm just not sure if we can beat it in this position. Yeah, definitely not beating a second one. And we're just drawing lands. Okay. Well, that was unfortunate. The build our opponent had here is tough for any aggro deck to beat. I'm not sure most aggro decks beat this deck consistently. They had like, what, two to three draws out of Blood on the Snow there. They found it, and they killed us. I think if they don't find it literally that turn, we just win, because I get to blow up the Celestus the following turn. But that's not how it went. So I think this is a really cool, really sweet aggro deck for the standard format. Haste messes up a lot of opponents' interaction and removal and gives you a chance to close out games. Imagine, you do all your regular stuff, you get your opponent down to 5 or 6, and then they wipe the board. Now you've got a chance to actually draw creatures and have them attack through sorcery speed removal, which just makes this deck that much more powerful. Obviously, we didn't get to show that aspect of the deck of this deck off, because we just beat that first opponent and then just lost to the green-black opponent that had everything. It just seemed like a bad matchup for us. But the hasty stuff is fun. The creatures are efficient, and then you've got the +1/+1 counter sub-theme running throughout this deck, which is just really, really cool. The sideboard's good. Elite Spellbinder and Showdown of the Scalds give you some play against removal-based strategies, but and Thalia helps there too. Obviously, we didn't draw those cards in the right combination, so it didn't quite work out for us, but I think that that's what you want to be doing if you're playing against a bunch of removal like we did. That being said, that's going to be it from me for today. I like this deck. This is a sweet aggro deck. Give it a shot. Let me know how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you next time.